It's a ghost!
What is up, Netflix fans, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm talking about the brand new Indonesian Netflix original called Suzzanna, Buried Alive. And that's right, this is an Indonesian film on Netflix. I love reviewing foreign TV shows and movies. This one just came out today. Don't know why it's dropping on a Wednesday. That is slightly random for Netflix, but I have seen weirder. Today I'm going to talk about this. If you have never heard of this movie, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Are you excited about it after I get finished talking about it? And if you have seen it, did you like it? Were you disappointed? Or were you pleasantly surprised? I don't know if I would call this pure horror. It's more of a dramatic, comedic, romantic horror movie. I'll explain all of that in just a second. Let's talk about Suzzanna.
Buried alive!
So after a pregnant woman is murdered, her spirit seeks revenge against her increasingly terrified killers who are determined to finish her off for good. And right off the bat, let me start with this. This is not your everyday horror movie that's coming out in 2019. This is very much a throwback to the old classic horror films. It feels very 80s at times. It even looks like an 80s movie. Just the aesthetic, the backgrounds, the set design, all of that. And really, it's not a horror movie that is all that scary to me. And there is a reason for that. The reason is because it focuses on her return from the dead and her as she is haunting the people that murdered her in real life. And I found that very fascinating. And I enjoyed seeing things from her perspective. I love the fact that she just wakes up the next day not knowing what happened. She wakes up thinking she's still alive, and then she realizes, oh my God, but her purpose, her entire reason for being there is to haunt the people that murdered her, to go after them, and of course, get her revenge. Now, there are rules to this, and those rules are explained at not the beginning, but kind of the first act going into the second act of the film. They figure out, okay, she is after us, but we have to go after her now and finish the job. And it really is this movie of a back and forth between the people that murdered her and her coming back and exacting her revenge against these people who really are, I don't want to say complete scumbags, because you do start to learn more about them as characters, but you still know that what they did was completely wrong. And the fact that they try to hide it, and she knows that they tried to hide it, is even worse. And as she is exacting her revenge, once again, it's not very scary, but you do get in the mindset of the people that are seeing this and experiencing this haunting of the woman that they killed. But at the same time, and what I found so fascinating about this premise is you're in her head as well. You see her perspective as she haunts the people, and that's something that we rarely get to see in a horror movie of today. And the reason why I say it feels like such a throwback, other than just the look of the film, is the dialogue. It is very on the nose at times. Sometimes it feels like a spoof of a horror movie. There are moments that we spend with the main character of Suzzanna, and I want to give a shout out to Luna Maya, I believe is how you pronounce her name. She is really good, and I know this is a reboot of a film that I have never seen, and there is a lot of lore that goes into this character specifically, and this is a character based on someone who actually passed away in real life recently, who was big in that industry. I liked that nod to her, but I really liked this character because while she was over the top with these screams and the yells that she lets out when she's haunting the people, sometimes they can be hilarious, sometimes they can be a tad bit too much, but you do realize what the movie is going for because the tone is very consistent, and the pacing, while it does suffer at times because it gets so satirical, I understand why it was the way that it was. And I will say this is not necessarily a movie I want to revisit anytime soon. I like the fact that it was so different. It's just a hard movie to get used to. Its style is so out there and so different that I had a hard time kind of grasping the situation and some of the characters because they were so over the top, and the comedy doesn't always land. A lot of the jokes, especially by the people who are in the house, the three assistants, they can be funny at times, but other times I just wasn't laughing. I found the jokes to be too far on the nose, too wacky, too zany, and I know that's what this movie is. It's in its own way making fun of modern horror films and trying to give you this, oh, we're an 80s movie in 2019, and I like the fact that they did that once again, but the comedy didn't always work. Some of the dialogue is a bit expositional, and it does feel longer than its actual runtime. It clocks in right at 2 hours, and it did feel like I was sitting there watching for quite some time. This is a movie on Netflix, so you want something that feels fast-paced and doesn't make you feel like you've wasted your entire day, and this movie did not do that. It actually kind of surprised me, but it was a bit long.
That's what she said!
I watched the sub version of this movie, which I usually do. I couldn't find a dubbed version. Maybe there is one on YouTube, and maybe I just completely missed it, but I only found a sub version, which which is okay because you get to soak in their performances a bit more, and I like that, and I wasn't super busy, so I was able to sit down and pay attention. Overall, I thought Suzzanna Buried Alive was an interesting and surprising movie. I expected this, honestly, to be horrible. I saw the poster, I saw the premise, I saw the trailers, and I said, nope, this is not going to be a movie that I'm going to enjoy, because usually I don't enjoy a movie like this, but it's so self-aware and so tonally consistent that I found myself having a pretty good time with it, and because of all of those things, I think this movie is worth a 3 out of 5. That's right, a 60% for Suzzanna Buried Alive. So let me know in the comments down below, did you guys watch this movie? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Have you ever heard of it? Probably not. The only reason I found it is because I knew Netflix was dropping something original today. I looked it up and I said, what in the world is this? Tomorrow Pet Sematary. Today's been a pretty busy day with trailer reactions, but this weekend expect more Netflix content, a Shazam spoiler video. You are the absolute best, and I will catch you very soon.